Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome. It is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to our Zoom webinar for tonight. We'll be starting in the next couple of seconds. It is always a pleasure to meet each and every one of you here on Zoom, 2 times every month. So every time every time we finish one session, we eagerly look forward to the next, and it seems to get better and better. We hope that more people will join us in the next couple of minutes, but we would like to start now. First, I would like to, yes, so I'd like to recognize the presence of our doctor, Dr. Torila. I see that is already in the room. And Mr. Clement, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us early enough. So we'll be starting in the next couple of seconds. But before anything, a few housekeeping. I'd like to announce that this program is proudly sponsored by PUI. PUI is Prime Unique Women Initiative. Prime Unique Women Initiative is a non-governmental organization, and our primary focus is on the empowerment, sensitization, security, and education of women and young girls. So we go all out for local programs, global programs, online programs, all on-site programs to make sure that women, young girls particularly, and of course by extension, men are empowered, especially that they have the knowledge and skills that are required to improve the quality of their lives. So for a very long time now, we have had conversations surrounding mental health awareness, mental health sensitization. We have shared practical tips, practical ideas and ideologies on how people can improve the quality of their lives, on how they can become better individuals, on how they can support other people that are going through tough times mentally. And most of those things that we have shared are practical enough for people to implement. And of course, the feedback that we have gotten from other people is clear indication that these things are useful and timely and germane and relevant to these people. We really appreciate the presence of everyone who continues to join us 2 times every month. And for people who continue to invite their friends, we are so glad. There are so many ways that each and every one of you can support this initiative. The truth of the matter is that there is no effort that is too small when it comes to making a difference. Many of you already know that even as you can even call it little, but to us it is not, but as simple as sharing the invitation link to other people who benefit from the program, that is one simple basic way that you can join in supporting this program. Because if more people are sensitized, it helps all of us as a country. Because the truth of the matter is, if we are the only people who are sensitized, who are mentally healthy, but the people in our immediate environment, our neighbors are not, we are not safe. We are still in trouble. So the more people that are empowered, the better for each and every one of us. So that is one way that you can support this initiative. Another way that you can support the initiative, of course, will be by simply reaching out to us to say, this is my platform, for example, and I wish that you could come and sensitize my employees. I wish that you could come sensitize my colleagues at work. I wish I could come sensitize people in my school. Let more people come and learn about this program. Of course, if you'd like to also support this program financially, we'll be more than happy to work with you. If you want to support or sponsor in any way, it is always, we would always be happy to have you at our Abuja office. Or of course, you can reach out to us on Instagram, PUI_NG. Or you can simply visit our website, PUI.org. That's PUI.org. The brain behind this initiative is right here on this call. And of course, before we do anything officially, it is only nice that we gladly recognize the presence of our president and founder. And I'm referring to Dr. Mrs. Folake Yoba.
Thank you so much, Felix. I really do appreciate you. Good evening, friends. Words cannot express my gratitude to you for answering the call to learn more, because we want to learn more, we want to give more knowledge to people, and that's why this platform is here. But if you call you and you refuse to come, we'll be talking to ourselves. So we do appreciate you for being here. For those of you who have been consistent with us, we appreciate you. For those who will join later, I think we can still say our words of appreciation to you. We only need to work on our time consciousness, because time is everything that we need to take care of. So we thank you so much. Those who are already in the house, we really do appreciate you. And today, we are going to be talking about, we're going to be discussing a topic that I believe everybody needs to be part of, because we all live in a world where even when we have enough, we still lack some things that we want to have. And we see people who are very wealthy, who are very rich when it comes to money, who still go into depression. People have all sorts of crises that they manage in their lives. Even those who are, whether poor or rich, we still manage different forms of stress or another. So we are going to profile solutions this evening, and you have to pardon us because as at 2 weeks ago when we were ending this program, I remember I announced that we're going to be talking about touching on the lives of the young girls who have menstrual hormonal imbalance affecting their mental health, or even the old elderly women who are having menopausal crises to manage affecting their mental health. But well, to the glory of God, behind the scene, we received lots of calls and requests and demands that we should be talking about depression today. And because we always want to satisfy those who listen to us, we believe that this topic too is very is germane at this moment, considering what we face, particularly in our country today. Lots of hardships everywhere. People lose their sanity easily. People are, depressed. People have all sorts of crises that they manage. So we believe this will be good for both men and women, and even the young ones and old ones. And that's why we are taking up this topic this evening. And with us in the house, we have a specialist. We have a specialist. Our main resource person today is Dr. Torila, and he's a clinical psychologist. And he's going to be doing justice to this topic. And as usual, we always want our programs to be interactive. So this evening, we'll also entertain questions from people, and I'm sure he will be ready to actually give answers to the questions that we have. Thank you so much. So I call on you, Dr. Torila, to take over from me right now. Thank you very much. You're welcome all.
Okay. Thank you for the audience. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the audience. Today we'll be talking about stress and depression. Those are our major keywords that we'll be talking about this evening. Actually, stress leads to depression, and we'll be talking more on stress. Then we'll talk about depression too. We'll carry the two together so that we can marry everything together. In Nigeria now, we notice that a lot of people are being stressed up from a lot of issues, and a lot of people are being depressed. The psychosocial system of the education now has made a lot of people, just like you said, and a lot of people, they get mad, they get snappy at any little thing you do because of the stress they've been facing. So how did stress come about? We'll be talking about stress this evening, and stress started from a founder called Hans Sloane. He was born 1907 to 1982, stayed for 80 years. And he discovered stress in 1936, July 1936. So stress, actually, we'll be talking about stress and its definition. What is the definition of stress? Stress is a feeling of physical, mental, and emotional strain. It can be caused by things like work, relationship, money, health issues, normal part of life. Too much stress can be harmful. It can cause problems like insomnia, headaches, and high blood pressure. We noticed that how did the founder, Hans, start about stress? He talked about stress when a tobacco company was built and they couldn't make up. The production was becoming less because a lot of people were being stressed up and they couldn't make up to becoming what they were. So the production was becoming low. So when they couldn't make up, that was when the founder, Hans, came up with stress. Stress leads to depression. We know a lot of people, a lot of things can make somebody in Nigeria now with this stress. In a layman's language, I wouldn't be using words that will make us think too much. We'll break it down to a language where all of us will carry each other together. Stress, simply in a layman's language, talks about how our body reacts to pressure. How our body reacts to pressure. In varieties of stress, my stress triggers can be different from another person. Every individual has his own triggers to his own stress. Because in a variety of stress, we'll be talking about the psychological effects, we'll be talking about the physiological, talking about the biological, we'll be talking about the physical. So I'll go next to depression, which is our other key term too. What is depression? Depression is a mood disorder. Depression is a mental disorder. It's a mood disorder that can affect your feelings, having the health, behavior and health. If it can cause persistent feeling in sadness, hopelessness, and less interactive activities. Depression can make it hard for us to carry out our daily activities, like going to work, school. It can also cause physical symptoms. What are these physical symptoms? Like changes in our appetite and sleep. When we talk about depression, we notice that a lot of people are being depressed now. How did depression start? Depression is a feeling of unhappiness. It's a sad mood. We notice that most of the times when people are depressed, there are a lot of triggers too that cause depression. So we'll be going now to talk about these two, and we'll marry them together, because stress causes depression. And what does depression cause? The biggest trigger for depression when we have depression is, please, next slide. Please, can you go to the next slide? Okay. We'll be talking about stressors that cause stress, and then we're talking about stressors that cause depression. What are these stressors that cause stress? We talked about the psychological part. With the psychological part, which we talked about feelings of anxiety. When we know somebody is stressed up, he has anxiety, there's irritability, there's mood, and there's moodiness, there's fear, which is anxiety, there's embarrassment. When we come to the physical, which is the one we see, we talk about cold, we talk about sweaty hands, tight muscles, back or neck pain, talk about problems of back and neck pain. We talk about fatigue and more colds. We notice when somebody is stressed, your muscles, there's tension in your muscles. You begin to feel uneasy. When we come to the physiological, we talk about thoughts. In the thoughts, we have self-criticisms. When you don't have confidence in yourself, there's difficulty in concentrating and making decisions. Because when you see a person is being stressed up, the way he even talks, he stammers. There's a lot of things that you will know this person is difficult in making decisions. But you ask him questions, he thinks a lot before he answers your question. There's forgetfulness, there's mental disorganization, there's preoccupation with the future. He begins to think, what I'm doing, is it right or is not right? There's that self-pity. There's that self-complaint about him, and he doesn't coordinate very well. When we go to behavioral, we have so many things, like crying, weeping spells. You see, a normal person who is supposed to be functioning well, he starts crying for no reason. There's fear of failure. He hasn't even tried what he's supposed to do, and already there's a fear of failure. There's this, what is called a nervous laughter. For no reason, the person laughs, and you begin to wonder, why is this person laughing? You begin to wonder, why is this person laughing? That laughter is not normal. You begin to wonder, the laughter is not normal. So, snapping at friends. You see friends which we are supposed to be interacting with on a normal day. A friend comes to you and asks you a simple question, and the next thing you see, the person snaps at that friend. Repetitive thoughts. Somebody who is supposed to coordinate, the next thing he doesn't coordinate, you ask him something and he's repeating the same thing after, on and on. Increased smoking of alcohol and other drugs. You see, when a person is stressed up, what does he do? The next thing he feels is, let me go back to alcohol. It will give me more pleasure. And when you go back to alcohol, you put more pressure and more stress on you, and it doesn't work for you at all. Please, next slide, please. What are stressors in stress? Like I told you earlier, that there are a lot of variables in stressors to do with stress. Every individual has his own stressors. What would be a stress for me might not be a stress for another person. So these stressors, no event, regardless of how traumatic, can be detrimental to health. Stress becomes problematic when the stressors accumulate and we can no longer handle them. They become reoccurrent. They result into distress and feeling of anxiety and hopelessness. Stressors come in varieties of different forms: tests, finances, job interviews, health problems, achieved goals, praise, family conflicts, romantic relationships, competitions, homeworks, and assignments. Remember, stressors can be positive or negative. And when a stressor is negative, we call it distress. When it's a positive one, we have what is called a positive stress. When it's a positive one, we call it eustress. So today we'll be looking at what these stressors cause us, or what are the signals of these stressors. Examples of these stressors that give us stress, we'll be talking about death of a loved one. We notice that when you love someone dearly, and the death of a loved one has been told to you, it can be a spouse, it can be a child, it can be a loved one, it can be your father or your mother, we notice it's a big stressor to you. Psychologically, you are affected. Physically, you are affected. People who see you will know that definitely you have a problem. It's one of the major things that causes stress to a lot of people, to families, to loved ones, and friends. So that is one of the key things that causes stressors to a lot of people. We talk about relocation. When we talk about relocation of somebody from one environment to a new environment, adaptability is very, very difficult. It's just like now for example, I'll give like Lagos, for instance, where there's a hustle and bustle in Lagos, you are moved to Lagos. It will be difficult for you to cope at first, but with time, you'll be able to cope with that pressure of stress. Divorce of parents. We notice most of the children who misbehave these days are from broken homes. Divorce of parents can cause a lot of stress to a lot of children in the family. Stress alone does not relate only to to adults, adolescents, or old people. Stress can happen to even children. So by the time we notice our parents are divorced and there's no good relationship between them, can give us stressors for stress. Then encounter with legal system. Somebody who has a problem with the legal system has to go to court. The name going to court alone, or maybe being arrested by the police, one thing or the other, can cause a stressor to him. It can give him stress also. Then a new school or a new environment or a new job, trying to cope with that new environment. A new job, for example, trying to cope, you've not been there, you try to make new friends. Some people are people you don't know, you try to make them feel comfortable. It's also a stressor that can give you stress. Loss of job. We notice that most of the times when people lost their jobs, they become hopeless, they become restless. We cannot even talk to them because financially they cannot meet up standards. It's also a stressor to stress. Elected for leadership position. Not all people are leaders. By the time you give somebody a position and he's not able to take up that task, there's pressure on him. There's also stress there. New romantic relationships. We notice that in relationships, there's battering. It can be love at first sight. You think the person is a good person, and at the end of the day, it doesn't work for you. You have a crush for somebody, it doesn't work for you. It's another stressor to a lot of people. In our families now, we notice that even in old or new relationships, which were romantic before, we notice that our parents, they will feel, okay, we've become old, we should not dress good, we should not do this and that. The romance is gone. We notice when there are stressors of stress, there's no love. Love doesn't flow between parents, or that romance that made you to love that woman at first sight will no longer be there, and that will be a stressor. Another big stressor in romance is a lot of people lose interest even in sex. And what is the cause of this? It's because of stress from work, stress from something that maybe you cannot handle, and will make you lose a lot of interest in a lot of pleasurable things you used to do before. So the next one I will be looking at, serious argument with close friends. When we have close friends and you have arguments with them, it can be in a football, when we're watching football together and you disagree. Because by the time you disagree with a friend, you notice that there's that friction. Everybody becomes hot. Their hot tempers begin to roll out, even in a small argument. You notice that there's a friction, it causes stress. Increase in cost of load, of difficulty, increase in responsibility at the job. For now, most companies or most private sectors or even the government cannot pay a lot of people. So the workload that is supposed to be shared among different people now is shared to just one person. And the task, he's going to multitask. And if this person is going to multitask, he has a lot of pressure on his head. A lot of things that 5 people, 10 people could do. You can just see one person doing it, and there's a lot of pressure in him. There'll be increased cost in load. He has to do that task to be able to meet up, which will cause a lot of stress to him. Financial problems. This is one of the top gears of stress. Financial problems everywhere. We notice even in Nigeria now. What are we talking about? The wages of people who have not been met. We are talking about labor and NLC trying to negotiate with the government. What are we talking about? The financial problems for the wages to be increased. This is one of the big top gears of stressors to a lot of people. Change in eating habits. We notice some people, when they are stressed, either they don't eat, then vice versa. Some people, when they are stressed, they eat more. And eating also has disorders, because eating too much is also eating disorder, because it can make you to be obese. So when stressors come, some people eat, then some other people, they don't eat. Then pregnancy in women, there's another stressor. Some women, when they are pregnant, they tend to change their behavior. They are very aggressive. You see their mood changes, even their physique changes. You see a lady who is pregnant, either she tends to be very aggressive to the husband, but for reasons nobody knows. But it's just due to the body chemical changes, which makes her to behave like that. Please, next slide. So now we'll go to common signs of depression, just like we mentioned what depression is earlier on. Depression, stress leads to depression. It's another way of feelings of unhappiness, which makes the mood to be low. And when the mood is low, the person is unhappy. Stress leads to heavy depression. And what are the first signs you notice somebody who is depressed? Getting irritable more easily. Sometimes it's from greeting. You greet somebody, it's supposed to be a normal greeting, but the person becomes very, very irritable more easily. Why? Because the person is getting depressed. But you, unknown to you, you will feel maybe, why has this person's behavior changed? But it's because the person is depressed from either one stress or another, because we've mentioned some stressors. But you will not know. But it's good for you to interact and ask the person, on a very good day, how are you? We always ask people, how are you? Without knowing the meaning of asking people, how are you? They just answer, I'm fine. But deep down within them, they are not fine. Getting irritable is one of these common signs of depression. Feeling sad or down. I told you about unhappiness. Feeling sad or down is another common sign of depression. You will notice somebody who is cheerful, who is happy, who has been laughing, singing all day, and all of a sudden, the person begins to be unhappy and starts feeling down. Feeling less interested in things you do. A lot of people, you see them, maybe they watch football matches, they watch movies, and all of a sudden, they stop watching movies. They stop watching football, they stop going out, and they become isolated. Isolation is one very bad thing. By the time you become isolated, there's a problem. People around you who don't notice on time, it's a bad signal for you, because you have to notice that if this particular person is getting depressed, the first signs you will notice is that he has stopped interacting with people. There's isolation. Then the next one, having hard time enjoying things you used to do before. You see the person who greets, talks to people and laughs, all of a sudden he becomes moody, he doesn't talk again. Why? Because he's depressed, but you will not know. But these are the same common signs of depression. Another one is appetite or weight gain or weight change. You notice a particular person stops eating, or he eats too much, or he loses weight, or the weight changes, he begins to increase weight. Because I told you it varies in a lot of people. A lot of people will lose weight, a lot of people will gain weight because they are eating. Some other people, when they are depressed, they eat the more. Some other people, when they are depressed, they don't eat. So loss in appetite can be a sign of common depression. Then sleep problems, insomnia. When a lot of people are depressed, they hardly sleep because they are lost in so many activities. They feel they cannot do anything again. So what do? They tend to hold back from a lot of things. And when these problems accumulate, they think a lot. They hardly sleep, and insomnia comes in. Changes in how fast you move. You see a person who was active in everything he does, he becomes very sluggish. The person becomes sluggish. You hardly see him move up. He sits down in a particular place and his gaze is fixated. He doesn't move his eyes. He's always sitting down. You'll be wondering what is happening. This is another common sign for depression. low energy and tiredness. You see somebody who was active, but the next thing you are talking to him, every time he keeps telling you, I'm not feeling fine, I'm not feeling fine. There's low energy, there's weakness of the body, and this person keeps telling you, I'm not feeling fine. He's always tired. What are the reasons? These are good signs that this person is being depressed. The next one, feeling of worthlessness and guilt. Sometimes this person is guilty for no reason. He begins to feel self-pity for himself. He feels worthless. He feels what a lot of people do. There's this negative feeling that I cannot do it, I cannot do it. And the thing begins to weigh him down every day. He feels worthless in everything. You tell him, yes, you can do it, but he says, no, I'm tired, I cannot do it. There's this guilt, negative guilt. He feels, I cannot do it, and he remains stuck. And another thing with guilt is procrastination. You don't do anything, you remain in one place. Another problem or common sign with depression is problems of thinking. The person hardly thinks. That's why you need to have a to-do list to write down things you need to do for a day. You tick them. Once you've done this one, you tick them. You have a plan for a day. But when you have a problem thinking, you don't do anything, you procrastinate. You say, tomorrow I'm going to do this, tomorrow I'm going to do that, but you end up doing nothing. The next one, trouble making decisions or concentrating. You have to make a decision. I'm going to go to market today. I'm going to go to work. This is what I'm going to do. There's a problem making decisions. It's a common sign of depression. Thinking about the death or hurt of someone you love or hurting yourself. Depression has this element. Thinking about the death of someone. Because some people are so dead to us that when we lost them, we cannot forget easily. We cannot forgive. And one thing with forgetting and forgiving is key, is paramount. Because when it comes to the death of someone, some people, to a point, it gets them into depression. And what does depression do? The first thing depression does is, which is very common, we see people going into suicide attempts. We see people hurting themselves because they are depressed, because they are thinking about the death of their loved one. But you have to make a relationship that will carry you to talk to people, interact with people who will know that you have a problem and they will be able to solve your problems. Please, next slide. Things we can do to help. Please, next slide, please. Things we can do to help somebody who is depressed. The first thing we do to help people who are depressed is, first we'll be talking about what is called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It's one of the important things that we do. And when it doesn't work before, we'll seek for medication. But the two can go in hand. We can use antidepressants and we can use cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a talk therapy where we talk to people who are depressed. We have to improve their health life by helping them, talk to them, so that they can wake up from that depression. A lot of people have asked a lot of questions. Can depression be cured? Depression can be cured, can be managed. It can be managed. If it is managed in a good way, it can help you stay for some time. Because in depression, we have, I forgot to mention this, in depression, we have mild depression, severe depression, and we have major depressive disorder. Those are the three depressions we have: mild, severe, and major depressive disorder, which is called clinical depression. So helping people to improve in their health, planning for more regular sleep and exercise. Somebody who is suffering with depression, the first thing we do is helping him to plan his life, to be able to sleep regularly. Good sleep helps in depression. Then exercise. We need to do exercise because we see, just like the saying, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. By the time you walk, to get off this stress over you, you need to have a good sleep. You need to do exercise. These two go together. The more rewarding lifestyle, doing activities that boost your mood. What were you doing before? Some people like eating. Some people like visiting friends. Some people like watching movies. Some people like interacting with other people. When you interact with people, you share ideas. You talk to people. Life is more rewarding when you share ideas with people. You solve their problems too. By solving their problems, a problem half shared is half solved, because when you tell people your problems, you are able to interact and they are able to help you too. Solving problems that drag mood down. When time you tell somebody, I'm not feeling fine, somebody asks you, have you taken medication? It's a part of therapy. The person helps you to talk you out of that depression, taking steps towards goals. It's a good thing that you share your ideas with people. have a best friend, you can tell him, this is how I'm feeling today. And this best friend notices that, actually, I know this person, he hasn't been behaving like, but his behavior has changed. It's a good therapeutic word to talk to person and to talk to persons, which they can help you. You can meet your psychologist. If you can't meet your psychologist, you can meet other people, your doctors, that can help you, give you talk therapies. More helpful thinking, challenging negative thoughts. There's this way you dress and you feel good and you tell yourself, I'm looking good. There's the positive thoughts, makes you feel fine. You greet people with a smile and they will greet you back with a smile. But when you look at people and you greet them with that frown, they will greet you back with a frown and they will wonder what kind of person you are. So those are ways of challenging negative thoughts. Getting unstuck from rumination. What is rumination? Getting to feel that anything I'm going to do is going to be bad, but you replace it with positive thoughts. Anything you replace with positive thoughts will make you go forward. Next slide, please. Things we can do to help. Helping our parents and caregivers can also help us from depression. Good listening. When you talk to people and they're paying attention to you, is good listening. Our caregivers can be our parents. Our caregivers can be our siblings, can be our younger ones, can be our children. Just like before, they said, okay, depression was only for adults, but now even children are being depressed. Children are being stressed from assignments, bulk assignments they get in school, bulk assignments, or maybe a particular child is being bullied in school, or he hates mathematics and he's not in good terms with his teacher in school. That child must be going through stress and it can lead him into depression. So children now too can go into depression. Without you asking your children, how do you do in school? How do you cope in school? Bring your assignment, let me see. These are things that we need to do. Primary caregivers, we talk to our parents. How do you do? How are you feeling today? We ask them. Good listening is one of the ways to bring out people from depression. Then the next one is focusing on the positive. You always talk positive things to people. You relate with people. Tell them the good things they want to hear. Somebody can dress and you tell him you are looking good. It makes the person feel happy. Then the next one is resolving conflicts. We talked about forgiveness. You forget and you forgive. If you don't resolve conflicts, it's like the arrow is piercing you back because you look unhappy. You don't move forward. You need to have this forgiving spirit. You call yourself, okay, I'm a good person. I want to be a good person, but you don't resolve conflicts. You need to resolve your conflicts, even being your conflict with your spouse or even close friends. You need to resolve conflicts. And why is depression more in ladies? Because ladies hardly forgive. But in men forgive. By the time you have a handshake with a man, the conflict is resolved. He forgets and we move on. Optional topics for depression: coping skills with stress, overcoming anxiety, communicating efficiently, skills for making friends. It's good to make friends because when you have friends, you interact, you communicate. Coping skills for stress is very good because when you talk to people, when you have a lot of stress with you, you share ideas and people can help you out. Overcoming anxiety. Stress has to do with anxiety. When you have anxiety and you are able to communicate, you do a lot of things with people, you come out of stress. Then preventing depression. We go to preventing depression. One of the first steps that I told you about preventing depression, we talked about cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT. And in CBT, we have a lot of techniques. There's what is called the 4Ds. The technique we use in CBT, which helps a lot of people. And the 4Ds, one of the first Ds is drink water. When you drink water, it helps you to reduce your stress. There's fluid in your body, your brain works well. Because one of the first things that when somebody has a stress is your brain begins to tell you you're overloaded. You begin to have headache, you begin to have waist pain, you begin to have joint pain, your legs begin to feel numb. These are stressors and signals that you are feeling stressed. And if not checked, they will lead to depression. So you need to drink a lot of water. In the 4Ds of cognitive behavioral therapy, you need to drink a lot of water. The next one is delay your thoughts. The second D, you delay your thoughts. How do I delay my thoughts? By thinking positively. The third D is distraction. You distract your thoughts. You can either count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 10 to distract your thoughts. The last D, which is deep breath. You take a deep breath by sitting down. You put your hands on your thighs. You take a very deep breath, then you exhale. You do that 15 times too. You take a very deep breath, then you exhale. When you do that, it helps the tension in your body to relax. So it helps you to prevent future depression. These are the ways you can manage depression through CBT. Then having a plan for depression so that it doesn't creep back. When you know you are somebody who has high BP, you're on BP medication, or you are doing a lot of things to stop your BP, you have to have a plan that if depression creeps back, because you don't know what triggers your depression, you don't know what makes depression come back. You have to know these triggers, because a lot of people, a lot of tension at work, a lot of things, like I mentioned, the signals and stressors to depression are triggers to them. But if you know your triggers and you're able to plan and say, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a vacation. I'm going to rest with my family. I'm going to take a walk, which is exercise. It makes your body relax. When you come back, you have a good shower and you sleep. It's going to help you. Then, like I talked about mild depression, I talked about severe, then the major depressive disorder, which is the strong one, which if not being properly handled, if it gets to a stage, the person thinks of either suicidal thoughts, or the next thing the person thinks of to harm himself. If we don't help ourselves by talking to people, or getting people to talk to, or meeting a clinical psychologist, or meeting your doctor to help you, we'll notice that depression will creep back. Please, next slide. We'll be talking about the coping skills. Below are some of the options of general coping skills that we use of caregivers or children. Even our children, when they come from school and they are tired, we need to give them time to rest, have their bath, eat, then they can start doing their assignments. You can tell your kids, or even your loved ones, or somebody you are helping to cope with this, stress and depression. This is it's called a breathing exercise technique, where I told you earlier that in CBT and the 4Ds, breathing exercise is very, very helpful. You take a deep breath and make sure your diaphragm goes into the stomach. Then when you breathe out, it helps you a lot. It relaxes your body. Then another technique, which is a therapy, it's called music therapy, we use in relaxing, is music. We listen to good music. It helps a lot when you listen to good music. And just like we've said here, there are some music that are violent and are not appropriate for us to hear. There are also triggers, because just like music is relaxing, is also a trigger. There's some music that you hear that is also a trigger. We notice other people tell you, when I listen to Bob Marley music, I feel like smoking weed. It's also a trigger. And using alcohol for stress or depression is very bad, because a lot of people tend to go back to alcohol or smoke to make them feel bad. You are increasing that tension to your body. It's going to make you feel more depressed and stressed. So using alcohol is very bad. But music is a therapy that makes you relaxed. There's a good music can listen to blues, country to remember, that can cure off stress and depression. Self-statements and cognitive coping skills. Self-statements, these are statements that you make to yourself or to other people. Like I told you earlier, when you see somebody, you tell the person you are looking good, it makes the person feel comfortable. It makes the person feel warm. There's that warm reception that you give somebody. Statements that you make people feel that, no, do you care about them? Like I told you, in Nigeria, we greet people and say, good morning, how are you? But we don't mean the how are you. And everybody says fine and we'll move on. A lot of people are depressed. You ask them, how is the family? You ask them, how are you doing? And if somebody is open enough to you, he will tell you, actually, today, I was good, but this is what happened to me. The person can open up to you and tell you, this is how I feel. So cognitive coping is very, very good, even in our children and caregivers, that we talk to them, we tell them how they feel, we tell them, these are the ways I can help you to do your assignment. Today, if you come back from school, I'm going to help you do an assignment. You talk to your kids very well, not by shouting or yelling at them. It doesn't help. These are safe statements that can boost somebody's morale very well. Imaginary. Stress has to do with our 5 senses, our visual, our hearing, our taste, what we hear and what we feel on our body. And these senses we talk about, in Nigeria, when we talk about the 6th sense, what do we mean? We talk about the brain, which is our 6th sense. And all these things encompass together, because when the brain is affected, the brain tells, when one part of the body is affected, it tells the brain, which is our 6th sense, that this part of the body is not functioning well. I'm beginning to have headache, I'm beginning to feel this. So imaginary, sometimes things, perception, what we see, gives us triggers. We talk about stress, we talk about PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, are things we see I'll give you an example of coping skills of PTSD. Like somebody who has been in the military, has been in the war front, someone who on a very good day has seen people die at the war front, those memories are in his head. And sometimes when he gets old, he sits down to visualize these things and they give him a lot of trauma. The same image we're talking about is when we visualize a lot of things, good things, it makes us happy. There are good pictures of good paintings that we can see that can make us happy. There are a lot of things that we see. We can go to a beach, we can sit down, we can hear the waves of the sound of the beach, can make us happy. Things we see, the perception, they can make us sad and they can make us happy at the same time. So we need to be very careful with the kind of things we see. That's a perception, because there are some even things that do us, that make us to feel stressed. Even colors. There are some colors that are shouting. If you notice, you go to a hospital, there are some colors which you cannot see a wall of the hospital painted red, because some colors give triggers to people which make them feel unhappy. Then some colors make people feel happy, like blue. We notice blue is a soothing color. It can be mild blue, it can be green, it can be white. It makes us feel happy. So visualization is a very good thing. By watching good pictures, watching good movies, it helps our senses to be relaxed. Relaxation. We have a lot of ways to relax. You can swim, you can have a family get together, you can sit with your family, you can have a chat together, talk of the good old life, talk of things in future that can make you happy. There are so many ways that we can relax. Even our kids, we can take vacation with them once in a while, talk to them, see ways that we can relax with our kids. We can go for swimming once in a while and help them out. The next one, we talked about stuffed animals. There are some people who are generally people who love pets. When they see a particular animal, they feel free. They want to be with their animals. It makes them relax. They want to have this animal. They have their teddy bears, which when they hug a teddy bear and sit with their teddy bear, they feel comfortable. They want to be with animals. This is what they like. If what you like doing, you do it very well so that it makes you relax. You'll be wondering, why is this person in love with animals? He's in love with pets, but that's his nature. He wants to be with animals because it makes him happy. You need to do a lot of things that make you happy. So next slide, please. We're talking about relaxation is the key. It's a downtime important consideration in taking a walk. By the time you take a walk, you play a video game, you take your bath. By the time you bathe, you pour water on your body, it makes you relax. You feel very good. You spend time with activities that make you happy. Generally, it makes you relaxed. Because what is the opposite of being stressed is to be calm and to be happy. It makes you relaxed. Mental health too. Our mental health is very vital. We have to take care of our mental health. When we talk about our mental health, what we perceive, the kind of things we do, identify the goals and priorities, things that make you happy. You need to eat a balanced diet to be healthy. What is a balanced diet? Good foods that makes you, your BP calm down, good food that make you feel happy. There are some people, when they eat a good food, they'll tell you, I'm very comfortable. They feel very happy with themselves. Then you take time out to manage and schedule your plan. We talked about planning. You plan your day. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do next. You plan your day. If I'm going to go to market, you plan your day. You have a schedule. You have a to-do list so that it helps you to work out your mental health so that you don't crash your health. Okay, then do not ignore stress. Deal with it. Stress is one of the stressors that leads to depression. You have to always check it. What are your stressors? How do I manage them? How do I know these are the signals? How do I manage my pressure? What somebody else can manage this pressure, you cannot do it. Then sometimes you need to call for help. Then stay physically healthy. We talked about good nutrition, which will improve your ability, your stability, and ability to deal with other people. We talked about always drinking water so that you'll not be dehydrated. So it's also going to help you. Then acrobatic and doing exercise to stop anxiety. Then sleep is also necessary. When you have a good sleep, 8 hours or 9 hours sleep, even for children, it's going to help you. You can wake up the next day feeling very, very healthy. Then somebody who sleeps well, you hardly have insomnia. But if you don't sleep well, you are going to have insomnia. All these things are going to help you avoid depression. Please, next slide. Then how to relax. Next slide. How to relax? You need to be focused, because at your workplace, you need to be focused. Once you lose focus, you are not relaxed. You become irritable. A lot of things are going through your mind, but you need to be focused, because when you are focused, you are able to do what you are going to do, right? Your attention is there. People talking to you, you pay attention and you listen to people. It's going to make you relaxed, but when you focus. The next one, we'll talk about meditation. How do I meditate? You go to a serene environment where you feel it's calm. You can sit by the beach. You can close your door, put off the lights. You can read your Bible. You can read your Quran, and you can meditate. It's going to help you. It makes you relaxed. Then the next one, relaxation. Relaxation can be in different forms. Some people, it can be eating. Some people can be going on vacation. You can take a walk. You can go to a quiet environment, take a vacation with your children, sit in a quiet environment, relax, eat good food. It's a way of relaxing. It's going to help you cure depression. Then the vital key is communicate with people. Communication is very vital. You talk to people, you interact. It's very vital. You make friends, positive friends, and people who are going to help you, not people who are going to lead you into depression. Then summarizing this, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Summarizing this, depression is one of the things that have led people into suicide, have led people to marriages being broken up, have led people into losing their jobs. So by the time you effectively work, it's going to help you. So now we will be looking at doing something right away, no matter how small. You need to do something to get out of depression. Then the next one is try not to focus on the negative stress building thoughts, but rather replace them with positive stress boosters. You should think positively. You should think, I can do it. Always have that mindset that you should think, I can do it, and you'll be able to do it. But by the time you have the stressors and you think negatively, I cannot do it, I cannot do it, it's going to lead you to a lot of stressors and to depression. Reach out to your family and friends, develop a support network that will allow you to consider new ways of coping healthy, and also a good way to get your worries off your chest. How do you get your worries off your chest? No matter any problem, like I told you, be it a Christian, be it a Muslim, you need to pray about it. You need to talk about it to people, and it's going to help you. So we've come to the end, and we'll leave the rest for questions, so that when the questions come up, we'll be able to interact and answer them, since we have other people in the house. We'll have our doctors in the house too, who will be able to interact with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Torila. It's actually been an explosive session, and it's something I really appreciate. I believe that the president has something to say, and immediately after that, we'll allow other people to give their comments or questions.
Oh, yes. We appreciate you so much, Dr. Torila. We really, really do appreciate you. You've done so much justice to this topic, and we pray that God will continue to get you stronger. And I'm sure we've all learned so much. Yes. And okay, fine. We are saying that we want to listen to other people ask questions or comments. Then we go further from there. So just exercise a little more patience for us, Doctor, so that people ask their questions. So Felix, can you call on people who have questions?
Yes. Just give us a minute. I think in a minute people can gather their thoughts together. You can leave a message in the chat. You can unmute your device to speak, or you can simply raise your hand. You can use the raise hand icon. Anyone works for us. Just let us know you have something to say. I'll be more than happy to listen to you. And Dr. Nina, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you around. Professor Tariq is also on the call.
Yes, my friend, I'm here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you around. How is it going?
I'm listening. Everything's okay.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
I said, what? Cheers. People are talking. I don't see where to go. Where you did?
Who's talking now?
Sorry.
That question. No, I want to see the people.
Okay, yeah. So usually there's a video. You can use the video to see. Okay. Welcome. Okay, Professor Tariq, do you have something for us?
I'm waiting for the questions.
Yes. No, Professor Tariq. Oh, I was referring to Prof. I know there's a prof is on the call, yeah. You're welcome.
Hello, my
Thank
friends.
thank you.
In fact, it's a comprehensive, actually, presentation. Thank you, doctor. In fact, it's a very informative and helpful and resourceful. In fact, I'd like to, to think like as someone who has some depression. There are some question which he always runs at the back of his mind. Like, for example, I don't believe I deserve to be happy. I don't believe, I can forgive. I don't believe I can be as happy as other people. I don't believe I can be as happy as I once was. Or I don't believe I can be happy until something changes in my life. So how can we address this I don't believe issue, doctor? If you can elaborate on that.
Okay. Is somebody okay? Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Um, yeah, it's actually you need to know the stressors. Why do you feel you cannot be happy? Why do you feel you cannot do the things people do? We talked about self-recognition, giving yourself that positive thought and thinking, I can do good, I can feel better. And lastly, I talked about cognitive behavioral therapy, which I told you about things you do to avert the negative thoughts. Things you do, sometimes you need to just drink water. Sometimes, how do I distract these negative thoughts? By distracting myself. You can count 1 to 10. You can delay your thoughts. You can talk to somebody. You can talk to a therapist who can talk you out of it. And you need to know those stressors that are making you feel depressed. Because if you know those stressors, it's going to really help you. Then you talked about forgiveness. We talked about conflicts. Resolving conflicts is going to really help you. Is that conflict with your boss in the office? Because most of the stress we talked about, stress comes from even our workplace. You can be having stress because your boss is giving you too much work to do. You hate your boss. You've not resolved that conflict. You hate your boss. Because you hate your boss, you cannot directly attack your boss. You have that resentment to you and you have that negative thought, that self-pity, and you begin to throw back those negative thoughts to yourself because you can't address your boss. Then I told you about conflict resolution. It's going to really help you. When you forgive and forget, it really makes a way for you. When you resolve conflicts, you need to forgive and forget. It really helps. It makes you brighten up. I told you, when you greet somebody with a smile, I'll greet you back with a smile. But if you greet me frowning up, I'll know there's a problem and I will greet you and I'll frown. Sometimes I'll not even ask you, why is this man frowning? But I'll know there's a problem and two of us can remain like that. But when we resolve conflicts, it's going to really help us. We forgive people. We resolve conflicts. It's going to really help you. That's why I told you about caregiver and good listening. You focus, you resolve conflicts. It's going to really help you. So work on about forgiving yourself. And one thing with forgiveness, you have to forgive yourself first before you can forgive somebody else. That's is key, it's paramount. You need to forgive yourself, then you can forgive somebody else, then you can forget. And you move on and you live a happy life. It's going to really help you.
Thank you,
Are you
doctor,
okay?
so much. Yeah, that's okay. You actually you reminded me with something happened with me today, actually yesterday,
Okay.
in the sports in the gym. There is a
Okay.
I honestly this is a true story. There is a
Okay.
guy, I don't know, although I'm so friendly with everyone, all the coaches there, they are my friends except one. He doesn't like he doesn't like me.
How
Although
do you know he doesn't like you?
he always, has this long face, right? Whenever he sees me, and whenever I greet him, he doesn't respond back. So I know that something inside him, he doesn't like me. Now, this reminds me of like we need to communicate with people. We need to share a smile. You need to share that we are friendly.
Yeah.
we need to spread peace.
Yeah.
So you know what? Yeah, yesterday what happened is there were two guys, there were two coaches. The guy who doesn't like me, and the other guy is a friend. So I greeted my friend so warmly. Hello, Mert, how are you? He said, hi, prof. How is it going? The other guy got mad. So what happened? I'm telling you, this is the reality. What happened is that while I was going out, he said, prof. I said, yes. You need to bring two shoes to the gym. One, you reach the gym with one shoes, and then you change another shoes. So what he needed to do is he needed to make a fuss or to start a problem or to show that he is there and he exists. But of course, I understand, and I said, no problem. Okay, of course. Thank you so much. See you. And that's it. So people need to, even if they have something deep inside going on, there is no harm to wear a smile. People love smiley faces. I love smiley.
It's a therapy. It really help.
Yeah, and when you smile and then when you exchange like warm words, people think that you are peaceful, you are a friend, you are easygoing, they can talk to you. But when you are
Yes.
silent and gloomy, you are like a bomb. A bomb. It can explode anytime. So
That's
you
true.
are right, doctor. We need, and of course, those who are depressed or those who are not, we need to be smiling more, to be friendly more, to be communicative with people, to share, to show that we are happy, to
Yes.
share happiness, to spread peace. And that helps us. That helps us because, for example, you said that we need to play sports. In fact,
Yes.
sports help a lot. To me,
Yes.
sports is like a brainwash. Like when I go to
Exactly.
the gym for 1 hour, why when I finish my rituals in the gym and then I had a shower, I feel that blood comes to my face, complexion, because something changed. Because for 1 hour, I don't think of any problems. I stopped thinking of problems for one full hour. That's like a brainwash. So I believe sports helps
Reset.
a lot. Yeah, sports helps a lot, and forgiveness helps a lot. Even if someone did something bad to us, we need to forgive them, not for them, not for the people who wronged us, no, for us. Forget
For
about the
yourself.
person who wronged us. He will always be responsible, forever will be responsible. But we need to forgive them so that we can reconcile with ourselves. We can reconcile with our lives. So we need to forgive them. But of course, they are held responsible for whatever wrong they did. You see? And we need to believe that we deserve to be happy. We need to work also, doctor, on our self-esteem. The more we work on our self-esteem, we feel good. And of course, consequently, people around us will feel the same thing because it's like a mirror, it matches. So we need to work on our self-esteem, on our confidence. You see, in fact, this is what some of the a brief of what your lovely and informative lecture has covered, of course, this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you for it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. It's actually been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, sincerely, to listen to you, to hear you speak. Thank you, Dr. Torila. It's a pleasure.
Most welcome.
I know that many people will be taking many things home tonight, and we do hope that they try to practice from the very little things to the ones that are not so simple and straightforward for them. We know that this program has been documented. As you may have noticed, it's been recorded. And in the next 24 hours, you will be able to find it live on our YouTube page. So in case you miss any part of it, you can simply go to YouTube, find Unique Women Initiative, and you should be able to catch up on most of the things that Dr. Torila mentioned. So in case while taking notes, you missed out on any points, or in case you want to share with some of your friends that you may have invited, but they were unable to make it, just go to Prime Unique Women Initiative on YouTube, and you should be able to find this within the next 24 hours. It's always a pleasure to listen to each and every one of you. We know that 2 weeks from today would also be meeting. We know that we have reminded them that, no, I'm not. I just want to inform them. Yes, I want to inform them that they can catch up on the replay, one. And second, that they can support this program in any way. So they can support by sharing. They can support, you can support by sharing the program, by inviting your friends. You can support by your financial contributions in cash and kind, in any way that you feel that you can contribute to the success or to the expansion of this webinar, so that more people can be sensitized, so that more people can be educated. I'm going to transfer now to our president and founder, Dr. Mrs. Folake Yoba.
Okay, thank you so much, Felix. Thank you, everybody listening, everybody who is a part of this program. We really do appreciate you. We have acknowledged some people, and to those we have not been able to acknowledge, never mind. God is seeing you, God is seeing your efforts, and He's listening and hearing all of us. Yeah, we've done quite a lot in the last months. So many months we've done quite a lot. Like every program like this is loaded, and because it's free of charge, we only need to have a receiving heart to be able to, take advantage of what we learn on this platform, because all of us are students in life. The moment you believe you know enough, then you know close to nothing. I keep saying that every time. And I just repeated it now, because there's always room to learn new things. I have learned quite a lot in this program. And we really do appreciate Dr. Toria, who has spent his time to put this paper together. That's what he does every day of his life anyway, as a clinical psychologist. He has helped so many people, and he's still willing to help anyone who is ready to seek for help. Quite a lot we have learned, but I just want to add some things. They have said that we should learn to forgive. If you forgive, you are helping yourself. You are not even helping the person who has offended you as such. If you refuse to forgive and forget, you are like taking poison, and you expect the person who has offended you, in quotes, to die from that poison. The hatred that you harbor inside of you is not going to help your health, your mental health in any way. So we must learn to forgive for ourselves, not even for the person we are forgiving. And he also emphasized something that is very important. Before you can smile, you must have at least some sort of happiness inside of you. We are not saying you should fake it. We are just saying make yourself happy. When you make yourself happy, extend it to the next person. Smile is always infectious. When you smile at somebody, he gives you a smile back. When you frown at somebody, he ignores you or he frowns back at you. And how do you feel when somebody frowns at you? I don't like it. And that's why we cultivate the habit of smiling. When we smile, it has a therapeutic effect on us, on our health. So we should cultivate this habit of smiling every time. Of course, we have the right to express the way we feel. We are not saying when you're angry, you smile, but try to be happy most times in your life, because it really helps us to reduce or release stress. And we have also learned that we should look at what makes us happy and do more of what makes us happy. Everybody cannot like sports. Maybe what makes you happy is music. Then play music, but play it in a way that you not become a nuisance to your neighbor or somebody else. So we need to do things that make us happy, that will not irritate the next person around us. And we can maintain our own sanity. And when we are happy with ourselves and we are mentally stable, we should think of the next person. We shouldn't think, oh, it's not my business. If this person is insane, that's his business. If you think your neighbor's sanity is not important to you, you may be a very bad victim tomorrow. So we should care about our neighbors. We should give them information on how they can also help themselves. We've been talking about depression and stress. And I know that this is applicable to everybody, both young and old. Like the Dr. Toria told us this evening, even children can be depressed. They may not know how to express themselves. They may not know how to tell you, oh, mommy, daddy, I'm depressed. But you are the one that will now begin to decipher that this child is not as he used to be, or why is this child like this? This child could probably be passing through something that he doesn't know how to express. For example, bully at school, maybe sexual harassment for one uncle or auntie or housemaid or whatever. You need to calm down as a parent to look at what is causing the problem for my child. Why is my child behaving this way? The same applies to even some adults who are under lots of pressure, but they don't know how to express themselves. We just have to care about the next person. That's what we're talking about here. There's I learned somebody has a question. Please, Felix, call on the person that has a question now. Let's listen,
Yes,
and then we continue.
I think that Madam Agatha. Please go ahead.
Hello, doctor, and everybody in the house. Thank you very much for the lecture. It was so educative that I was even trying to say, can we have it again next week? But I'm happy it's recorded so we can make reference to it. I just want to share this as, let me say, personal experience. It's a small psychological technique that will help persons who could probably be depressed because they are being oppressed. You know, sometimes you find yourself in a situation, especially when the individual is very close to you, you cannot fight back, you are an adult, and you just want to, if you keep bottling it, before you know, you are in that mode of depression. And it's a little brain, I'll call it, telling yourself a positive statement. And that positive statement is a simple one that I, as an individual, my joy, my happiness cannot be taken away from me. The moment you start reminding yourself of that, whatever anybody does around you that put you in that mood, you find that you just throw it off board. So I thought I should share it also. Thank you very much.
That's a very beautiful one. Please, we appreciate that. We really do appreciate. Please, do we have more comments or questions? If you have anything that you think will be of immense benefit to all of us, please feel free to share. Even experience without maybe mentioning your name. Yes, we've listened to so many experiences on this platform, and people have found solutions as well. They keep telling us behind the scene, and we thank God for this, for being able to impact positively in people's lives. So if you have any experience you want to share, we still have like 25 more minutes to go. You can share with us, or if you have any advice or question, please feel free. Felix, please watch out so that we'll call the next person. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Grace Stanley, please, let's listen to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone, for all the encouragement that people have given to us. Why, especially me, I've been depressed. I've been under stress, and I know what to feel. And I've learned a lot from this program. A lot of things that the doctor mentioned about, has really helped me, like listening to good music, talking about food, eating good quality food with vegetables and fruit.
Sorry, Ma, we know that you're talking. We can tell that you're talking, but it's really poor. We don't know if there's something you could do. Maybe speak closer to the microphone or stop using a wired earphone. Do you want to try again, Ma?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, this is much better. Thank you.
Yeah, it's better now, yes.
Okay. So I said I've gone through stress, I've been depressed, and it hasn't been easy at all. But from the lecture today, from the discussion, from what I've learned from the doctor, from Prof, and everyone it has been so encouraging. I know most times I can't remember things because of the stress I've been going through when I'm ill and all that. It hasn't been easy, but like Doctor mentioned and Professor mentioned, trying to make yourself happy and listening to good music. Listening to music has actually helped me. Like sometimes I'll be listening to music and before you know it, I'll just fall asleep when I've not slept for several days. But when I listen to good music, it has always been very, very helpful. And sometimes watching ocean, what are the waves on the ocean has also been one thing to that also has assisted me to be calm, and it makes me have this feeling of calmness. And I have really, really, really learned a lot from the colors someone can take and the kind of music one can listen to and all that. I've really, really learned. I try my best to make myself happy knowing that when I make myself happy, it also impacts other people around me, and it will also make them to be happy too, and not because I'm ill all the time, everyone will be feeling sick and feeling angry, feeling sad and all that. But when I smile and put smiles on my face, even when I'm struggling to survive, even when I'm battling with life, you see that it puts life, it gives that life into other people. I've learned a lot, and I still have a lot of things I'm going to practice from what I've learned today. I just want to say thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Yoba, for the good work you've been doing. I truly appreciate it. I pray that you should continue to keep it up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I truly appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you for expressing yourself. We really do. And we just hope and pray that you can also practice everything you've learned, like you've said. Do more, do more, do more. Do we have more people, Felix?
Not at the moment. So.
Okay, not at the moment. I just want to chip in some things, you know. The doctor told us about color. If you remember, for those who have been following us all the while, you know, we've had sessions where we handled the impact of colors on our mental health. So you need to discover. If you go to our Facebook page, or you follow us up, you see we've had lectures on colors, how colors can help you to lift your spirits, to help to stay healthy mentally, you know. And I'm happy that the doctor mentioned, talked about it too this evening. So the truth is always constant. And again, we talked about good food. He also mentioned good food. We've also held, topics on good food. And when we talk about good food, we are not necessarily talking about expensive food. We are talking about food that will give you the right nutrients in your body. They may not necessarily be expensive, but we should have the right combination. We should eat for our blood group. All of these topics we've handled in the past. You can also check out on our Facebook page or on our website. Then having the support network is very expedient. We don't need to say, let him be on his own. Oh, this person is moody, this person is not feeling fine. We allow the person to be. We should come around ourselves and see how we can help those who need our help, those we perceive to be going through depression unknown to them. Because the major problem or the big deal here is that when people have mental health issues, they don't even know, and they keep arguing that they are fine when they are really not very fine. So when we see, I'm reading something now. Somebody has a contribution. Felix, you call her in 1 minute or him. So, and in the house too, we have Dr. Noge. If you have any help for us, Dr. Noge is is an old-time experienced doctor, a global one. He may also have a contribution for us to help people who all of us really need help in the real sense of it. I must let you know that. If you don't need it now, keep it in your left hand. Someday you may need it, or ask somebody around you who will need it. So Felix, let's call on the next person.
Okay, so let's listen to your contribution, please. I think that's Madam Omolara Bosede.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Mrs. Omolara Tuase.
Okay.
I just want to share based on my experience because as a victim of a kidnap, this Kaduna Abuja train kidnap. When I came out, I went through some traumas, and even up to now, there are some things I will see that will bring me back to. I spent about 4 months in the captivity. So there are some things I just want to share what brought peace to me, even up to now, And first, I want to thank Doctor for sharing some rudiments where to follow to give us happiness. And also, I want to share how I was able to maintain my peace. Like when Doctor talked about listening to something of interest, I find solace in listening to music. Above all, I find solace in the word of God that concerneth me, because depression is real, trauma is real. So if you can find solace in what you love, because I'm truly blessed by listening, because I've been seeing the adverts today, something just moved me to key into Zoom and listen. And truly, I'm truly blessed. So I'm able to come out of, whatever I'm passing through, even up to now. Most time I watch film of interest. I try to look above it. I look above it. I think above it. Even when it comes, I think above it. I watch film of interest. I read books. I listen to music, inspirational music, worship songs that make me feel at peace. And truly, if you can do that, it will take your mind off so many things and you'll be at peace with yourself. So that's one of the things that helped me through depression and the trauma I went through after my release from captivity. Like now, if I see maybe half moon, because while in captivity, there's nothing like light or anything. But at times, even up to now, when I look at the moon, because that's how we're able to know even the time of the month, there's how I will fall back into something, that triggers the experience I had. So what brings me out of it is maybe I will just quickly put on the music, or I read my Bible, listening to, messages, inspirational messages to bring me out of it. I think it helped. Today's lecture on, what we can do to help us helped a lot. I think it will help a lot of people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma. So sorry for the ordeal you went through. And we thank God for life, that you are like to share the story with us today. And we pray that nobody should fall victim, and may it never happen to you or to anybody around us again. So thank you so much for being strong. And so we have learned a whole lot of lessons from here. We need to be strong in whatever situation that we find ourselves. Please, Ma, we would like to talk to you outside the program. I hope you don't mind that, because we have to encourage others. Did you hear me, Ma?
Yes, I can.
Okay, fine. That'll be great.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, please. We would like to talk to you outside the program, outside this platform now. We'd like to talk to you, please.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
We appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Ma.
We appreciate
Thank
you.
you,
God
Ma.
bless you. God will
Thank you.
strengthen you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah. Dr. Noge,
Amen.
do you
Thank
have
you, Ma.
something to tell us? Dr. Noge?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dr. Noge.
Yeah, sorry I joined in very late. I actually was giving another lecture somewhere.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's been beautiful with everybody has been contributing. The most touching one is this last speaker who was a victim, and she raised very interesting points of how she overcame or is overcoming, coping with her stress. Listening to the religious literatures and going through the religious activities helps a lot. And then we must also not forget that reaching out to one another helps a lot. Okay, just by saying hello, hi, how are you? How are you today? Doesn't mean you're prying, but you just it does a lot to help the psyche and then the psychological states of your neighbor or friends within your sphere of contact. Nigeria today, there's a lot of stress, economically, emotionally, and all that. And when we reach out to one another in various ways, which has been discussed here, it goes a long way to help us. I also want to use this platform to thank Dr. Yoba very well for this program. It's a pity I joined it late, but I hope not to subsequent sections, not to come in late and then also contribute more. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Noge. We are very grateful. You're always there for us. Thank you very, very much. God. That was really very heavy, our experience, but We thank God for her. Is there anybody with comments or experience to share or question, please? We still have our doctor, the psychologist in the house. Please, the clinical psychologist is in the house. Please, do we have anything to ask or question? Dr. Toria is still in. Any comment, question, or encouragement for all of us? Felix, can you notice anyone?
No, not yet.
Not right now. Okay, fine, that's good. Yeah, we in the course of the lecture too, he talked about us having the right attitude. You know, having the right attitude is something that will always help us. In the last workshop that we had, because we always have workshops anywhere in the world. In Abuja, we had one some weeks ago in Merit House. We had one of our instructors who actually did a bit of, practical session with us. And of all the things that people long for in life, you talk of wealth, you talk of money, you talk of everything that you may think of, including sex and everything. And then he asked us to do the exercise, equating all the alphabets, A, B, C, D to Z, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, until you read the end. We now realize that attitude at 100%. Attitude scored 100%. That is, A will be 1. C will be what number it falls on. You plus, add them all together. Attitude gave us 100%. So when we have the right attitude, it can go a long way to help us. So when we need help, let us seek for help. When we see people that we need to help, do not hesitate to help those ones. Don't say it's not my business. Don't say until you are approached, particularly those who are members of our families, because we are not saying we should go and poke nose into people's affairs, but particularly when they probably don't want us to come in. But what we are saying is that for those who are around us, those we knew before now, and we see them having change in attitude and behavior, we should not leave them. We should try and help them. We also should have the right attitude that will endear us to people, and we practice what we call emotional intelligence. This will help us to also have mental health empowered, enhanced. When we have emotional intelligence, we practice it. That is, we are able to control our emotions and the emotions of the next person to us. This will help us a great deal. Now, we are talking about attitude here. So when we have the right attitude, then we can make more friends. We can let out steam. When we're under pressure, we feel free, like Professor Tariq told us of somebody who hates him. Let me permit you to use that word. I don't know if it's the right word, really. Who hates him in the gym. What business does somebody have with hating somebody? But that's the world we live in. You cannot control those who like you. Don't worry. You don't need to be liked by everybody. You just endeavor to like everybody and be friendly with everybody. At the end of the day, you can live a beautiful life because, like we said, when you open your mind to love, to show love to others, you smile, you are positive about life, you are not negative, you are helping yourself to stay healthy and be mentally sound. Because when you harbor resentment and you refuse to forgive, you are taking poison into your system, and it is not good for anybody. It is neither good for yourself nor the other person you are angry with. So let us be able to manage our lives, because this program is actually about us being able to live better than we do now, because there will always be room for improvement. One man's meat, they say, is another man's poison. Whatever that you think is not good for you, avoid it. It may be good for the next person. So, and whatever that is good for us, let us be careful not to hurt the next person around us. And let us try our best at every point in time to maintain our good health. The doctor, Dr. Torila, just told us this evening all the things we should practice. Let us look at the lecture notes and practice all of these things. Because when we do, we'll be healthier, we'll be happier, and we can make good neighbors, we can make good family members, and then our lives can even be better for us, and we'll have a better nation. So, and I don't know if Dr. Torila has something to tell us in 1-2 minutes while we round up, because we have like 6 minutes to conclude. Dr. Torila, do you have anything to tell us, particularly having listened to people talk? Please, let us, can we listen to you? Are you there, Dr. Torila?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please, just in just maybe 2 minutes, because we like maybe 1 or 2 comments from Professor Tariq, if he's there, And then if Dr. Lila is there, 1 or 2 minutes with you, we go a long way to help us. So please, Dr. Lila, please just tell us something in line with what you have heard all of us talked about.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me the audience again. Actually, in life, you have to be happy to be happy. You have to be happy to make other people happy. So it goes a long way. Because when you give happiness or you give love, it's reciprocal, you collect it back in one way or the other. So in this life, you don't need to be moody. All you need to do is to get out of depression. You need to be happy all the time. Do what makes you happy. Interact with people, laugh with people, and move on. It's going to help you. Then in everything we do, be it a Muslim, be it a Christian, you need to always be prayerful. It's going to really help you. That's the biggest part of depression that you can come out of it is you need to be very prayerful. Pray all the time and think positive and think of the best. And it's going to work for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Torila. So, Professor Tariq, would you just give us 2 minutes, please? No more than 2 minutes.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you.
If for every one of us, we need to make sure that we do 3 things every day. We say our prayers, we read, and we do some sort of sports. So if we do the 3 things daily and be committed to them, it will change, our mental health. We say our prayers, we read, okay, and we do any kind of sports, even if some people cannot afford it to go to the gym and they walk for an hour, for example. So this is the easiest thing you can do. So we say our prayers, we read, and we do any kind of sports. That's it.
Thank you so much, Prof.
No problem.
You always do justice. And do we have Dr. Lila in the house? Okay, she doesn't seem to be in the house. I don't know if anybody will talk to us for just 2 minutes while we are winding down the program. Does anybody have something to say? Felix, can you watch out, see if we have anyone who wants to say something as to encourage us?
Yeah, we don't have someone at the moment.
Okay, that's okay. We are closing now. But let me just also let us understand something, part of what we just learned this evening, that I've always believed in, and I will always believe in. Do something. Just do something, no matter how little it is you can do. Don't worry. Don't say it's the responsibility of the government, it's the responsibility of the pastor, it's the responsibility of the imam to do training, to talk to people, to sensitize people, to let people understand what it takes to be mentally stable, to check our mental health. Do something. Just don't worry. Just do something. They say little drops of water make a mighty ocean. We are doing something here. Because people may say, 20-something people, don't worry. The 20-something people we have, we talk to maybe other 20-something. So and that's why we say, as you leave this program this evening, look for people to talk to. Take it upon yourself to talk to 2. If we are 20-something in attendance this evening, by tomorrow morning, maybe we are going to be 50 who would have gained something. So share knowledge. Don't keep knowledge to yourself. It is counterproductive. It's not okay to think you should. You can't even have monopoly of knowledge anyway. And it is in your interest to get the next person around you to have this knowledge, because knowledge put to use will give you wisdom. And when you have wisdom, you can navigate the turbulence of life. Because the world that we live in now, people say, balance. In the popular way of saying it, Nigeria. So those who are not Nigerians, that's the way of saying it in Nigeria. Life no balance. When you say life no balance, what is good for you may not be good for the next person. Where you have excess, somebody doesn't have any. So we should share love. That's the most important thing, and this will help us. And that's where we are doing, and we want you to support us in what we do. Whatever way you can support us, we really appreciate it. So this evening, we are going to conclude on this program right at this minute, because we have 1 minute left. I wish all of us all the best. Please let us keep showing love to ourselves. Let us keep helping ourselves. Help yourself. and help the next person. And we see what God will do for us. Because thank God, there's no atheist on the platform. We all believe in God in one form or another. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian, we should pray and pray for others as well, so that we have a better society to live in. But in the next 2 weeks, we are going to take on another topic. And I think I would love to talk about the hormonal imbalance in the young girls and the menopausal challenges for women who are advancing in age. If you have daughters, you have wives, you yourself, even as men or women, acquire the knowledge and give to others. It is free of charge. Good night. We love you all. May God bless us all. Thank you. Bye-bye.